In the previous video, we have known the overall of Google Analytics. So now I will continue with some specific report and data analysis in Google Analytics. Hello, Mrs. Hua and everyone. It's Phương Thanh again, and we shall begin. So we are starting with audience reports. In the old world of analytics, we just counted eyeballs. But today, we are looking for identity. Who are these people? Are they tech-savvy teenagers in Tokyo buying stickers or professionals in New York City buying hoodies? Understanding your audience is the difference between shouting into a void and having a conversation. When you know who they are, you can speak their language. Okay, so to demonstrate the audience report, I will use the merchandise Google Merchandise Store data, which is the user attributes. Let me see, it's over here. Okay. So we can see that, look at the map. You can see that a massive concentration is in the United States with the active users of 34,135. And to explore more, I will go to the Take tab. Okay. So to the Tech tab, we can see that most of active users use their desktop to visit the Google Merchandise Store, and the second one is mobile. All right, so let's get back to our presentation. I'll give some example. Imagine you find 80% of your users are on mobile, but your checkout button is tiny and hard to click on a phone screen. You are not losing sales because your product is bad. You are losing them because you ignored the data. Fixing that button isn't just maintenance, it's about unlocking the revenue. Now, if audience reports answers the questions, who are they? With acquisition reports, it answers the question of how did the customers find us? Think of the website as the destination. Acquisition is the math of roads they took to get there. Some took the superhighway of paid search or the Google ads. Others look the scenic route of organic search or SEO. And some were referred by a friend, which is social. So to demonstrate the acquisition reports, I will use the traffic acquisition, the feature of traffic acquisition right here. Okay, so we scroll down to the table, we can see that um, this is the most important report for you for the marketing budget. We can see that direct is the people who type exactly your name, and this is the brand power. With organic search, it is when people looking for the answer, they search on Google, and this is the content power. And the referral and the remaining parts is the links from other sites. This is the networking power. So we'll have an example right here. So look at the merchandise store. We can see that the organic search are driving the most session right here. Why is that? Because when people want a Google t-shirt, they Google it. Yeah, they would search for it. But when we look at the email, although it has this really a smaller session number, but with an engagement rate, it is much higher. So why is it? because those people, the people who receive the email, are already subscribed. They are your loyal fans. S- So the lesson here is that they don't just chase the biggest number, which is the sessions, but also chase the best number, which is the engagement. Moving on with behavior and engagement reports. So this answers the question of what did the customer do in our website. Let me give you an example. Now, the customers arrived. Imagine the website is like your house. They arrived at the door. They walked in the door. Now, what did they do? Did they wander around the house aimlessly, or did they march straight to the checkout, which is another door? Okay, so to demonstrate the engagement or the behavior reports, I will use the engagement pages and screen. Okay, so in old Universal Analytics, we call this behavior, but in Google Analytics 4, we call this engagement. So this is the digital body language of your customer. So we can see the views per users of how many pages do they look at, or the average engagement time. This is the new gold standard, which tells us how long the screen was actually in the foreground. So we'll have the analysis strategy, which is sort this table by views. I will I'll sort this table by views, date from November the 1st to the end of November. Apply. So we can see that our stationery page. Oh, let me see. So we can see that our stationery page has nearly 5,000 views, but only 37 seconds of the engagement time. So, what does that tell you? It tells you that the image might be misleading, or the price is too high, or they looked, and the customers would just left. However, look over here um, with the Google merchandise. Yeah, it's the brand Google with its merchandise. The page has fewer views, nearly less than about more than 1,000, but they has more than 1 minute and 21 seconds engagement. So people are reading, they are interested, and that is the page that we could consider to promote more. Okay, so the demo account of Google Analytics also links directly with the Google Ads. So here I will look at the attribution. So but to demonstrate the admins, the Google Ads, I will check if it is linked with the Google Analytics. So over here, we'll click on Google Ads links, and it is linked with three accounts. Okay, so analyze the to analyze the data of advertising, we'll use the advertising feature right here, and I will look at the attribution, right, right here. Yes. So we have the myth that the last click. Let me show you the last click. Okay, so usually it is the last clicks that gets all the credits. Like I would click an ad and bought, but when it comes to the reality right here, we can see that um, for example, I would see the ads on the email or the organic social or just basically an ad advertisement on Instagram or Facebook. I Googled you later here. I Googled you later, which is the mid touch point, and I at a clicked a retargeting ad 2 days later than I bought. So we can see that the journey of purchasing is quite complex rather than just the last click, which just gets all the credit. So Google Analytics lets you give the credit to the first click, which is the early touch points over here, and the mid touch points as well as the last click that closed the deal. If you only look at the last click, you might fire the best introducer, which is the early click. So let's get technical for a moment, which is the admin panel. The gear icon that I have just clicked on the previous part of Google Ads. So click on the admin. The admin panel is the engine room. So if it is set up wrong, all the data would be wrong. Okay, so some key areas you must know is about first is the data streams. This is where you connect your website or your apps. The website would be web and the apps would be in iOS or Android. But in here we can see that uh, in the demo account, the streams is for the store websites from North America and Canada websites. Okay, so the next one is about the property settings. We can see the property details over here, which is the currency or the time zone. And the next one is about the events right here. Data display, the events. So Google Analytics 4 is event based. Here you can create the events like file download or video store or add to cart, purchase, view items, and treat it as the key events. If you don't tell Google what a success looks like, it can help you to find more of it. Okay, so finally we tap to the end with some additional notes. In Google Analytics 4, we are no longer just focused on sessions, we focus on events. So why? Session or visits was like counting how many times people walked into a store, but events or action, it counts every smile, every touch, every product that are picked up. So why does this matter? Because the modern user doesn't just visit. They switch from phone to laptop to tablet, and Google Analytics 4 uses Google Signals to track this cross-device journey, stitching together a single user story from fragmented devices. So, data is not just numbers, data is the voice of the consumer. Every click is a question, and every purchase is a vote of confidence. With this with this quote, it also marks the end of the second video on Google Analytics. This is Phương Tan and thank you Miss Hoa for listening.